We're living in times when the impossible is slowly becoming possible, and China has proved it again. These guys have built a train that'll completely change the travel scene all around the globe. It's not just a train, it's a train that travels 1,000 kilometers per hour. Let's break down China's new train that's faster than a plane. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on deep dives like this. For decades, airplanes ruled the world of travel. If you needed to go from one city to another quickly, no ride could compete with a plane. But now, China has flipped the story with their latest creation, the TFlight Maglev, a train that acts more like a magnetic spaceship that runs on land. This beast has an insane speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour, which is faster than a Boeing 737 during takeoff. Yep, that's right. While planes like Boeing cruise at 885 kilometers in the air, this train simply beats them on the ground. How does the new train work? Now, you might be wondering, how's this even possible? Fortunately, the secret's out. It's magnetic levitation, or maglev as engineers like to call it. Unlike your traditional trains that rely on wheels and tracks, this train isn't in contact with anything, but it floats a few centimeters above the rail using powerful magnetic fields. Since there's no friction at all, it rides effortlessly. It might remind you of a bullet train, but make it through a magnetic tunnel, except inside that bullet train are hundreds of passengers sitting comfortably, barely feeling the motion. But you see, the real game changer isn't just magnetic levitation, it's what happens around this train. TFlight runs inside a vacuum tube, where there's almost little to no air. No air means there's no resistance. Pretty much like how rockets operate in space. That's the key to reaching destinations at such high speeds. Imagine you travel from Beijing to Shanghai in just 2 hours, while normally, the trip usually takes around 4 to 5 hours on one of China's already fastest bullet trains. However, TFlight cuts that time in half. Think about it. We're literally talking about airplane-like speed on land, without the takeoff, turbulence, or security delays. And since it completely operates on electricity, it's also much cleaner than jet fuel. China isn't just competing in speed, it's changing the travel scene by producing this high-speed train. But this isn't their only miracle on rails. China has been building trains that have been competing against airplanes for years, renowned China trains. Then there's the CR380D, a major milestone in China's innovation. This was the very first high-speed train completely dependent on homegrown Chinese tech. No foreign aid or borrowed parts were involved. Most trains travel fast like jet engines, but this one slides by like a whisper. You see, it even has a peculiar design. It's literally shaped like a dragon's head. This isn't just for looks. There's a curved nose that helps the train slice through the air resistance. It's so efficient that it barely makes a sound, even at 350 kilometers per hour. So, this train isn't just fast, it operates smoothly and quietly. But before we talk about what makes TFlight so revolutionary, make sure you're subscribed to our channel for more technological updates. What makes TFlight so revolutionary? So, what makes TFlight so revolutionary? For starters, it's built on superconducting maglev tech, a system that uses magnets powerful enough to carry an entire train and make it float. It stays suspended with absolute precision, even while moving at insane speed levels. And here's where things get crazier. This train has no wheels, no engine noise, and no track friction either. So, when you hop on this train and start your journey, you barely feel any vibrations inside. It's like sitting in a capsule, watching landscapes blue outside at 1,000 kilometers per hour, yet feeling like the time inside your capsule is still. This level of precision requires incredible engineering. Every piece of track must be aligned perfectly because at 1,000 kilometers per hour, even a few millimeters of misalignment could cause huge turbulence or maybe even worse. That's why smart Chinese engineers came up with smart tracks that can automatically detect and correct alignment in real time. Another thing that makes TFlight stand out is the sustainability factor. You see, most airplanes tend to use jet fuels that are expensive, polluting, and limited. But TFlight is different. It doesn't rely on jet fuels. Instead, what it uses is electricity. That means zero direct carbon emissions into the environment. When powered by renewable energy like solar or wind, it won't be wrong to call it a carbon-neutral form of travel.
But no meal. Second class is in a much denser 2+3 layout, and
So, now it's cleaner than a plane too. And if we're talking about the comfort experience of TFlight, you might be thinking traveling at 1,000 kilometers per hour is terrifying or even nauseating, but the vacuum environment removes all turbulence. There's no air drag to shake your cabin because it's designed specifically to accelerate and decelerate gradually. This way, passengers barely notice any speed increase. It's smooth, eerily smooth. China's engineers claim their train could eventually connect Beijing and Guangzhou. Currently, these cities are 2,200 kilometers apart. But through this train, you could travel from Beijing to Guangzhou in just 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's roughly the same as flying, but without the hassle of airport lines, boarding delays, and security checks that eat up hours of your day. If you've ever sat waiting at an airport for a delayed flight, you can already imagine how this could completely change your travel habits. And another interesting fact is the cost of maintaining maglev trains. It's lower in the long run. With no mechanical contact, there's little wear and tear that means fewer repairs, longer lifespan, and smoother operation. Airplanes, on the other hand, have hundreds of moving parts that need constant checks. So, economically speaking, once the infrastructure is ready, it's cheaper to run. But wait, where did the idea of the vacuum tube train come from? Honestly, it's nothing new. I mean, in 2013, Elon Musk once proposed the same concept, the Hyperloop, which promised high-speed travel through low-pressure tunnels. But most Hyperloop projects have struggled to make it past testing phases. But look at China. They're out here taking the idea, refining it, and actually building it. The TFlight is essentially the real-world version of the Hyperloop. It's not a concept nor a prototype anymore. It's a functional train now, and these tests are showing results. In their initial stages, the TFlight successfully reached 623 kilometers per hour. Through this, it set a world record for ground-based transportation. Engineers believed the 1,000 kilometers per hour milestone was also achievable. So it was just optimizing the vacuum and power systems. Now, if you're wondering, could these insanely fast-moving trains replace airplanes one day? Well, let's imagine it. A flight from Shanghai to Chengdu takes 3 hours by air, plus 2 to more hours for checking in, security, and then boarding. That's a total of 5 to 6 hours worth of travel. With TFlight, you could take the same trip in under 2 hours door to door. Yep, you heard that right. No airport transfers, no turbulence or waiting. And unlike planes, maglev systems can connect directly to downtowns. That means you won't have to drive to an airport 40 kilometers away. You can easily board the TFlight from a downtown station and step off right in the middle of your destination city. The convenience of the train, the speed of a jet, and the efficiency of a metro make TFlight stand out. And of course, such a massive innovation doesn't come cheap. Building vacuum tunnels that extend hundreds of kilometers is a beastly engineering feat with financial challenges. But China has a track record of turning ambitious projects into reality. Look at their high-speed rail network. It's already become the largest in the world, that covering over 45,000 kilometers. So, if any other country could pull off this next leap, it's definitely China itself. What's even more impressive is that the TFlight could also revolutionize other industries, like trucking. Imagine shipping goods at airline speeds, but at a fraction of the cost. This way, packages could travel across the country within hours instead of days. That's a potential game changer for e-commerce industries like Amazon, Alibaba, and even Temu. You wouldn't have to wait for your packages for days and months. They could be delivered in a day or days right at your doorstep. And beyond China, this tech could spread super fast. If countries in Asia and Europe take on similar systems, we could be seeing continental-scale maglev routes connecting nations, and maybe even replacing short-haul flights entirely. Could you imagine a world relying on trains instead of flights? Now, think about the environmental impacts of domestic flights. Many studies show that air travel contributes to almost 2.5% of global CO2 emissions. If maglev trains start replacing domestic flights, that number could drop significantly, and the noise pollution is nearly zero. There will be no roaring jet engines, just silence everywhere. The future of travel in China. The TFlight isn't just any regular train. It might change the way we travel in the future. Alright, try to imagine yourself hopping into a smooth capsule, watching the world blur before your two eyes as you travel faster than an entire aeroplane, but on the ground, it does sound like a total dream, right? But guess what? This dream just became real thanks to China's advanced technology. And what makes it totally cool is the comfort inside a train that travels crazy fast. I mean, could you imagine you could travel inside a small capsule without feeling the jet-fast speed going on outside? Me neither. But that isn't even the best part about this train. The best part is that it doesn't harm your environment in any way. It doesn't burn fuel nor cause any smoke in the sky. That's the thing about Maglev. It's completely electric. So yes, we might actually be witnessing the early stages of a transportation revolution. But of course, no innovation comes without challenges. The biggest hurdles right now are infrastructure cost, energy demand, and public adaptation. Building vacuum tunnels requires airtight engineering over massive distances. Then there's the question of power. Maintaining a stable magnetic field at 1,000 kilometers per hour consumes massive amounts of electricity. Still, China considers this a long-term investment, not just in transportation, but in national innovation leadership. By pioneering technologies like TFlight, China is building more than just a train. It's building its name in the entire world by contributing to its surroundings. And that's why China's future will be mind-boggling. By the 2030s, you might be booking domestic high-speed train trips from Beijing to Hong Kong or from Shanghai to Chengdu. Each journey takes barely 2 hours, with check-ins and boarding taking minutes. And no, you're not watching some science fiction. This is real. The future is here. So the next time someone says you can't travel faster on the ground than a plane, tell them China just did. Because with the TFlight, things have just gotten legit.